everyone, welcome to the Village Storytelling Centre. My name is Lauren and I am a storyteller, and I want to say welcome to February, and I want to say welcome to LGBT History Month. So here at the Village we're going to be posting a few videos throughout February that celebrate the lives and the contributions of LGBT people from the year dot all the way to now. Now, some of these videos, some of these stories are going to be fictional. Some of them will be biographical or historical, and some of them will be a bit of a mix of both. Now, the story that I'm going to tell you is a mix up of two stories that I've taken parts from and put them together, and I hope that you really like it. We begin in a village, and where that village is up to you. You imagine the setting in your own mind. Is it a village in the Highlands of Scotland? Is it a village on the outskirts of London? Is it a village in Australia, France, Zimbabwe, China, Iran? You decide. But the important thing about this village was in the village there was a judge. And that judge was very respected among the people in the village, and in fact he was so intelligent and well respected that the people from miles around would come to him with their cases and he would arbitrate for them. He would settle disputes and arguments, he would oversee the selling of things, houses, property, he would register any births, and he would preside over the marriages. So the people in the village were excited to know that the judge decided that it was time for he himself to get married. And he had said to the people of the village that he wanted to find the most intelligent person out there to become his wife. And everyone was very excited, and they all were sending their daughters along so that the judge might marry their daughter, because they all thought their daughters were extremely intelligent and very beautiful and wonderful. And the judge, he would see all of these women, and he would ask them some questions, he would chat to them, maybe he would ask them a riddle, and he was trying to see who was the most intelligent. Well, lots of these women were very, very intelligent, and they were very beautiful, but something just wasn't sparking for the judge until one day a young woman came in with her brother. And so the judge asked the young woman the questions, asked her some riddles, and she had some great answers. And she was very beautiful, but the judge had noticed something. He had noticed her brother, Ali. Now, Ali was a very, very handsome man. And when he and the judge locked eyes across the room, that was it. They fell instantly in love. But the judge had to see if Ali was the most intelligent man around. And so he asked him some questions. He said, Ali, if you are truly to be my husband, you must complete this task. I want you to come to me neither dressed nor undressed, neither combed nor uncombed, neither walking nor riding, and with a gift that is not a gift, and neither by day nor by night. And Ali said, challenge. I accept that challenge. And so Ali, he went home and he waited. He undressed and he redressed himself in a fishing net, so he was neither dressed nor undressed. He got a small donkey and he sat on the donkey, but it was so small that his feet could touch the floor, and that way he was neither riding nor walking. He combed one half of his hair and left the other half uncombed, and he went to see the judge at twilight, when the day is not yet over and the night is yet to begin. And he brought with him a present. This present was a bird in a cage. And as soon as he arrived at the judge's mansion, he opened the door of the cage and the bird flew away. Well, the judge was very impressed with Ali, and so the pair, already in love, decided that they would marry. But the judge set out a few conditions for Ali. He said, I love you and I want you to be my husband, but it is very important that the people here in this village and for miles around, they respect my authority, they respect my judgment, and so you're never to interfere with any of my cases. I know you're very intelligent, but I am the judge. Do you understand? And Ali said, yes, I understand. I'll never interfere in any of your cases. And the judge said, this is serious. If you do interfere, you must leave my house at once. And Ali said, very well, but I have to give you one condition. And my condition is that I get to take with me the thing that I love most. Well, the judge thought this was fair. And so they agreed. And this was a kind of prenup, I guess. And the pair, the judge and Ali, were married and they lived very happily together. And Ali never interfered with any of the judge's decisions because the judge's decisions were wise and well thought out and well considered. Until one day, the judge made a bad decision. Perhaps he was tired, perhaps he was stressed, perhaps he was overworked and maybe hadn't had enough to eat and he was just feeling a bit hangry that day. Who knows? But the judge made a bad decision. You see, two sisters came along. One sister had owned a horse and the other sister owned a cart. Well, while the sisters weren't looking, the horse had given birth to a foal, and the foal had crawled under the cart. And when the sisters noticed the foal, it was coming out from under the cart. So the sister who owned the cart said, fantastic, I have a foal. My cart has given birth to a baby horse. I have a foal. This is wonderful. And the sister who owned the horse said, where did you go to school? Did you learn any biology? My horse gave birth to that foal. And the sister who owned the cart said, no, you didn't see that. I saw the foal coming out from under my cart. And so the cart gave birth to the foal. And they argued and they argued and they argued like this until they decided enough was enough. They were going to see the judge. And the judge would make that decision. And that decision would be final. So they went to the judge, who, remember I've said, for whatever reason, he was a little off his game that day. And they put their case before him. The sister with the horse told about the foal, and the sister with the cart said, well, no, the foal came out from underneath my cart, so I am the owner of the foal. And the judge half listened to the story, and he said, I decide for the sister with the cart. The foal came out from under the cart, and so the foal, it belongs to the cart and the sister with the cart. Well, they both knew that this was the wrong decision, but the sister with the cart had gained a foal, brilliant, and the sister with the horse, well, she couldn't argue with a judge. Like I said, the judge was very, very well respected in that town, in that village, and for miles around, and so you could not disagree with them. So they went home. One sister with a cart and a foal, and the other sister with a horse. Well, Ali, of course, was there, and Ali had heard everything, and Ali knew better than to interfere with the judge's judgment, but he also knew that this was not right. So he went out into the street. He waited for the judge to go out on his daily walk. And he went and he found someone sitting by the side of the road, and he said, I need you to do me a favour. And the woman by the side of the road said, sure, anything for you, Ali, no problem. Because Ali had a good reputation around here too. And Ali said, I want you to sit with this net, and I want you to cast the net on the road as if you were trying to fish. And when the judge walks past, and he'll ask you what on earth you're doing. And I want you to say, if a cart can birth a foal, then I can catch fish on a road. And the woman said, okay, Ali, anything for you, no problem. And so Ali went back into the mansion to wait. Well, just as Ali had said, the judge walked past, and he walked past the woman sitting with the net on the roads. Well, she cast the net, and sure enough, the judge asked her the very question, "What on earth are you doing?" And she gave the answer, "If a cart can birth a foal, then I can catch fish on a road." Well, the judge knew exactly what this meant because he was a clever man. He knew he had made the wrong decision. And so he went very quickly and he found the sisters and he made the decision right. He gave the foal to the sister with the horse and he told the sister with the cart not to be so silly in future because she knew exactly what she was doing. But of course the judge also knew that Ali had interfered with his judgment and they had made a deal and Ali had broken that deal. So sadly, the judge returned home that night and he told Ali, his heart breaking, that he would have to go. That Ali would have to go back to his parents' house, that their marriage was over because Ali had interfered with the judge's judgment. And Ali said, "Very well, you're right, I did break my promise, I did break my vow, but come, let us have one last meal together." And so the judge agreed, of course. And Ali went and he had all of the kitchen staff prepare the judge's favourite foods. He had such delicious foods. Can you imagine what might have been on the judge's table? What's your favourite foods? I love to have stir fry, so maybe had some stir fry and some mac and cheese, delicious mac and cheese, and tacos, probably had tacos as well. He probably had some haggis, neeps and tatties because it's just been Burns night. And what else? He probably had some chips and all sorts of delicious things. And the judge ate every morsel and it was so good. And they had such a nice last meal, Ali and the judge, that the judge relaxed afterwards. He fell into a deep sleep with a full belly. Well, as soon as the judge was asleep, Ali had the servant pick up the judge and take him all the way back to Ali's parents' house with him. Well, they slept that night. The judge had no idea he'd been picked up and moved. He was a very deep sleeper, obviously. And he woke up the next morning in Ali's bed in his parents' house. And the judge was confused. "Why am I here? What's going on? This is a house for a peasant, not a judge." And Ali was sitting there on the bed, gazing lovingly into his eyes. And Ali said, "I left your house because I interfered with your judgment. But my half of the bargain was I would get to take what I loved most. And that is you." Well, the judge at this point knew Ali was the love of his life, but also he was a very clever man. And so the judge and Ali, they weren't getting divorced after all. They decided they would stay married, and the judge had changed the conditions of their vow, of their agreement that they made. The judge realised how amazingly intelligent Ali was, and so he said, "You and I, we'll make decisions together in future. And that way, if I do something ridiculous like agree that a foal has been born under a cart, then you'll be there by my side, helping me to make the right decisions." And so Ali and the judge ruled that village, that land together. They made the decisions, they made the right decisions, and they did it side by side. And they lived long and they lived happy. And they never drank fair dry cappy. Cheers.